Hello Guardians, welcome back to Right Way Gaming. Today I'm going to bring you the state of the weapons in the beta. Now by no means this is how the weapons will be in the final release, of course they can make changes since then, and they've already stated that the beta is a couple of months old compared to the current state of the game that they're at compared to the beta, but it still means that they're going down certain lines that I feel. So I'm going to cover what I felt were the best weapons. I'm going to explain each category, and at the end I'll state through my favourite weapons, the ones that I've used most during the beta because I found them the most successful, and what I think is going to be the most successful combos as well. So I'm going to go through the primaries first. So you've got auto rifles, sidearms, scout rifles, SMGs and pulse rifles. Now each of these has their own range. The beta has definitely proved that this is the lines that Bungie are going down in terms of the way they're developing the game. So hand cannons, SMGs, sidearms and auto rifles are all short range or medium range. SMGs and sidearms are extremely short range, so don't try and take on anything too far with these weapons. When I say extremely short range, I am literally talking about a couple of feet at the most. Any further than this and any gun in the game will basically destroy you. Hand cannons have got a bit more range to them and are deadly at anything from any sort of short range. You know, if you're going to be getting in people's faces, hand cannons are the way to go, because I've had the most success with these, basically using control points and just aggression, team firing people, you're devastating with them basically. Then auto rifles and pulse rifles are quite good for short to medium range. Auto rifles are better at short range, but they can be used at medium range if you can get those headshots. Pulse rifles are definitely devastating at medium range against scouts, hand cannons, auto rifles, pretty much any of those. Then we have scout rifles. Now scout rifles do exactly what they're meant to do in this game, which is destroy people at range. You can take them on at short range if you know how to use them, but there's also two different forms of scout rifles, just like there was in Destiny 1, but this time literally has more purpose. So the fast fire rate auto scout rifles literally can destroy people at short range and long range, but are a lot harder to control. Now the higher damage scout rifles that have a slower fire rate are absolutely devastating at range, and I'm literally talking like you probably could 3-pop people if you get the headshots. And if you've got a healing rift with one of those high damage scout rifles, you are pretty damn lethal. And if you had an empowering rift in terms of getting more damage, it's even worse. So yeah, you should always have someone on your team with a high damage scout rifle in my opinion, because they can hang back and just take off the ones that are weak. Then I'm going to talk about your special weapons, your NG weapons. Now they're basically exactly the same as the primaries, the kinetic weapons, but I've found that because they have an energy base to them, that they are slightly weaker or have a different purpose. For example, the SMG for primaries has the further range to them, but the NG weapons has a shorter range. And I thought this was interesting because I think this is what Bungie were trying to get at. Your primary weapon is going to be your main weapon. Your energy weapon is going to be used for special circumstances. So whatever you're comfortable with, put it in the primary slot. Whatever you want to use as a backup, use in your energy slot. For example, the SMGs, primaries had further range than the secondary SMGs. Same with the sidearm. The sidearm had a significantly higher range than the secondary sidearm, which I thought was really strange, because I thought sidearms were bad, but then I stuck the primary one on and I had so much more range compared to the other one that I could actually get kills with it. But I'm not talking cross mapping them, but I could almost use it like I did with the hand cannon, which was really weird. I didn't like it, but I don't use it. Then in terms of the scout rifles, again, they have significantly less range, which says to me they're more for medium range. It was really weird. For example, it was a fast fire rate one, which didn't have much range. So I increased the range on it, and it became much more devastating at far range. And I was literally plucking people off. But by the time I killed one person, I had to reload, Whereas with the high damage ones, you could probably take 2 to 3 people out if you're accurate with it. Which is also, again, it's in the primary slot. I'm seeing a massive difference between the primaries and secondary weapons. The only ones that I didn't see a massive difference in were hand cannons. They seem to be pretty similar. Apart from the perks on them, again, were slightly different. In terms of with the primary one, it had a secondary damage, which was weird. So there's a lot of things going on between the primary and the secondary slot that a lot of people aren't probably noticing, and they think that they're the same, but they're not. There's a lot of difference to them in my eyes. The pulse rifles, again, the primary one was much more stable, has a decent range to it, and has a damage perk. The secondary one was a little bit harder to control, but had interesting perks to it. So I'm going to go in more depth on some of these weapons later, just because there are certain ones that I want to talk about. Anyways, that's it for the secondaries. There's not much to talk about there because, like I said, they're similar to the primaries but with certain differences. And then the heavies. Now the heavies, it's a strange one. It's all down to the player's skill, I think. For example, shotguns, snipers and fusion rifles are in a really, really good place. Most of them are going to one-hit people and don't take much skill to use, and you can literally, for example, I've been playing a lot of Control. We went 16 games undefeated with about 12 games of Mercy that we won, and it was ridiculous. Just because we played as a team, and there were certain games where I used a shotgun and I literally could slide into a zone where all 4 of them were, and I'd literally wipe them out with the 4 bullets. Really, really powerful heavies are, and I think this is what they're getting at. You're not going to get much ammo for them, but they're going to be devastating when you do pick them up and learn to use them. Snipers, again, they're in a really good place. Not much aim assist to them as far as I know. They've reduced the aim assist, but it seems like they've increased the hitbox, because I'm getting headshots so much more easy, and not only that, but the actual flinch on them is a lot less, but more consistent. So if you're getting shot at, you're going to have to wait till there's a break in the shot before you can pull the shot off, because your freaking crosshairs going everywhere. And I've got plenty of clips that show this off, but I haven't put them in this video just because I've not been able to find them. Then I'm going to talk about the heavy hitting rocket launchers and grenade launchers. Now, rocket launchers, just as good as they were, apart from you only get 1 rocket per power ammo. Again, making a massive point that if you can't use the other weapons, you're going to be taking a massive disadvantage in terms of you're only going to get 1 rocket. Because they're more devastating, but you're going to get 1 rocket, because if there's 4 people on a zone, that 1 rocket will take out all 4. But it also means that you're not going to get much chance to find a team that works apart. So if, for example, if they've got 2-on-2 capture points, you're only going to be able to take out 2 of them tops. Grenade launchers you get more ammo for, but are harder to use. You literally have to get the grenade to land at their feet for it to kill them. If it goes past them, it's going to miss, it's not going to do anything. Even if it explodes, it's not going to kill anyone unless somebody's stuck behind them. Then we have a new weapon, the linear fusion rifle. Now, I've heard good comments about this and bad comments about it. Apparently, if you can get headshots with them, they're as good as a sniper. But body shots, not so much. Apparently, a linear fusion rifle has the same range as a fusion rifle, apart from it's a single beam, and if you get a body shot, it doesn't kill them, but a headshot does. Whereas with the normal fusion rifles, you just literally have to aim at the body anyway, and as long as you're within range, you're going to kill them. So it's a bit of a weird one. I've had good comments and bad comments, but I would recommend not getting used to them, because I think a lot's going to change along them lines with the fusion rifles. Right, now I want to talk about the specific weapons that I've found really good during the beta, that I've had lots of success with. So, primaries. I've found Scathlock, a really good weapon to use. Not as efficient as some of the others, but if you're struggling to use any other weapon, this is probably the one that you're going to land to, because it's nice and easy to control. It's got a 50 round magazine nearly, so you're not going to run out of bullets quick, and the minute the opponent does, you can chase them down and carry on firing at them. So yeah, that's a really good weapon, especially to start off while you're learning how to use the guns. Then we have the Better Devils. Now this gun I have used a ton. It's a great hand cannon. Takes a lot of getting used to, but the minute you learn how to use these guns, they are devastating. I am talking you can literally take on 3 people at once, ducking in and out of cover. Then we have the Nightshade Pulse Rifle. again, it's a devastating weapon. It actually has a damage perk for reloading after a kill, again making it even more lethal, and it's got a bit of range to it, meaning that you can contend with people up to a medium range, and it only has 30, I think it's 30 shots per magazine, so it's enough to take out 2 people per magazine, and it's a really nice looking gun to that fact as well. Now, the sidearms and the SMGs in the primary slots, I don't really want to talk about because I didn't find them that good. Again, they're a super short range, which is not ideal on most maps. It's like the last word, apart from they're not as devastating, unless you get within 2 foot of someone. I mean, if you can get within 2 foot of someone with an SMG, you'll literally destroy him in seconds, less than seconds I should say. But how many kind of encounters do you get that are like that? It's one of them, you've got to learn to use them, and they're very scenario based. Now, the energy weapons, and it's pretty much along the same lines. I found the auto rifle dreadful, I hated it, didn't like it one bit, which is called the Deathlock or something stupid like that. But the hand cannon, again, I love it. I actually prefer it to the Better Devils, which a lot of people don't for some reason. But I found it really snappy, really accurate, and just handled quite nicely. It's called the Minuet 42. And it's a Shuro's hand cannon, so it actually looks nice as well, which I thought was a decent thing because I like the way my weapons look. Then next up we have the Nurgle pulse rifle, which again a lot of people are raving about because it can destroy people, and it is quite easy to handle at short range, bit harder at long range because the burst of it is a bit unpredictable. It's not vertical, it kind of goes off to the left I've found, but it's still devastating nonetheless. It also has ricochet rounds, so you can bounce the bullets off walls. Again, interesting perk to have on a pulse rifle. And it's an Ombalon, of all things. You know, you don't see many of them apart from like, what was it called from Dead Orbit? The scout rifle? I've forgotten, I've used it for years. Oh my god, that is shocking. Anyways, moving on. We have the SMGs and sidearms, and again, these ones are even worse than the other ones, but again, an extra short range are even more devastating than the primary ones, which again I found really odd. So yeah, if you're going to be the sort of person that's going to be getting in shotgun range, SMGs and sidearms are probably going to be your friend. But me, I don't get that close unless I have an actual shotgun to shoot someone with. Now, is there anything I've missed for the secondary ones? I don't think there is. Oh, there is actually. That's the scout rifle, which is the Black Scorpion. I found a really interesting scout rifle. It has a high fire rate, low impact, which means that even at short range it can be quite useful because it's got the full auto mod on it as well, which means you can just basically keep hold of that trigger and fire away. And I've took out plenty of people with this thing. Even at long distances I've still done it, but you have to control the shots more. You can't really use a full auto because it kind of goes haywire on you. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the primaries and secondaries. Now I'm going to go on to the heavies, the ones that I found most devastating, which the main one that I've been using is a shotgun, the Shuro shotgun, which is called Referendum or Referin or something like that. But yeah, I'm not joking, I've been able to wipe out 3-4 people at a time with this without even breaking a sweat. On top of that, I play Hunter, which means if I melee someone, I get my health back. So even if the first initial shot doesn't kill them, the melee does, and I regenerate health, meaning I am then able to go on to the second person and kill them with ease. So I think that shotguns are going to be a massive Hunter primary to go with. Not primary, heavy, sorry. So yeah, then the sniper. I had a lot of fun with a sniper, and I am primarily a sniper. I love sniping, but I feel in Destiny 2 I'm probably going to go a shotgun. I think they're really nice and they're really good to have as a backup plan. But snipers again on long range maps are going to be devastating because the hitbox seems bigger, they're easier to control, they're snappy, and I'm talking about a low impact sniper rifle here. God knows what a high impact sniper rifle is going to do. So again, it's really good state for snipers. Then the fusion rifles. I had lots of fun with this, but I'm not a fan of fusion rifles because you can aim at the body 1 second and it will wipe them out, aim at a body on another person and for some reason every single shot will miss. So I just find them inconsistent, whereas with a shotgun it's super consistent and still a one-shot kill. Linear fusion rifles, if you get the headshots, are deadly. If not, I don't recommend going for the second body shot. I'd just get your primary back out to finish them. So again, I think they're not in as good as a place as the other heavies, but the Tarantula might be just one of the weaker ones. They've not put one of the better ones in yet. We don't know. Again, we've only had a handful of weapons to test, and I feel the linear fusion rifle Tarantula wasn't the best to go with. Grenade launchers, I've kind of already said this. The Armentarium or something like that it's called, is no good, I don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong, in PvE it's devastating. If you fire it at a Cabal and it blows up, it's damaging everything around it. But in PvE, because you've got such a small target to hit with a grenade, and it's not a direct hit where you're aiming, it's like a curve, just like it should be because it's a grenade, you're going to miss a lot of your shots until you get used to it. So I didn't like it, I stopped using it. You know, it might be good for rooms, you know, if you're playing the countdown game, it's perfect. Fire the grenade into the goddamn detonator and boom, you're taking out anything near it. But how many times are you going to get that opportunity? It's one of them, you've got to figure out whether it's going to be useful for you or not. And then we have the rockets. Do exactly what they say on the tin, they blow up. Anything within a certain distance is dead. So again, if you're no good with any of the weapons, that's your safe option, just take it. It's better to be able to do something than nothing. That's my point. But I've been playing with people that have been no good at sniping, and all of a sudden they've picked up the sniper in the beta and they're like, oh my god, this is so easy. So I definitely recommend to anybody to try out all of the weapons and see which ones work best for you and your playstyle, because like it or not, we do all play differently. 2 years ago, I was the most passive player that you could come across. I would sit back with a scout rifle, taking you out from a distance. The minute anyone got near me, I'd panic and just die. Now, I use a hand cannon and I'm up in your face, up in your grill, trying to cause you problems. Don't care how many of you are there, I'm likely to take out at least one or two of you. So again, like I said, I've completely changed my game style based on what I enjoy. So I recommend that you do the same and take the advantage of the beta to do the same. It's about to end, but you know what? This video might change your mind and you might get the last few hours and decide that you prefer hand cannons to pulse rifles. I hope I've done that. If not, well, where's the harm done? Nothing. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you next time, which will probably be back on the Destiny original game, Destiny 1. See you then, Guardians. Right, we're gaming. Over and out.